Must know mortgage hack that you can use today. Overpaying on your mortgage. So let's explain. An overpayment on your mortgage is when you pay more than your required monthly payment. This can be done as a one-off payment or regular payments depending on your circumstances. Right, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. So my name's Manda and I call myself the mortgage coach because I combine financial coaching with mortgage advice. Now, what we're going to go through today is why this is a great thing to do and the benefits you'll get from it, how to do it, and a working example, and any additional tips as a bonus if you stay to the end. So let's get started. The benefits. You'll reduce your mortgage term. By reducing your mortgage term, that also means that not only will you have paid your mortgage off earlier, but you'll actually pay less interest. And you also increase your equity because as you pay off more, your property is worth, even if it's worth the same as it would have been, your mortgage balance is reducing, which means the difference between the two, which is your equity, will be increasing. So it's threefold when it comes to benefits. Plus, once it's all paid off, then you can use your money for other things, which is always great, right? Now, if you're enjoying this video, please subscribe and share anybody who you think could be, who could get something from this value. The next thing is how. So the first thing is you just have to check your mortgage deal. When you're looking at your mortgage deal, you're working out when the fixed rate is, like it might be a 2-year fixed, 3-year fixed, 5-year fixed, but also you're looking at the original term. Is it a 25-year mortgage? What is that? The next is you can calculate what the impact is. So by looking at how much you're paying off every month and then how much, say you're allowed to do the 10%. That is the standard. What is going to be the impact of that? Do those calculations. And then the last thing is set up the regular overpayments. You can set that up as a direct debit or a standing order. And then that way it's automatically happening every single month. So you don't need to remember it, or annually, or whatever you would like. So a working example. So suppose that you have £200,000 mortgage left and it has an interest rate of 3%. This is over the standard 25 years that everything is. Now, if you pay £100 each month, you can potentially reduce your mortgage term by 3 years, and that can save thousands in interest. Now, the good thing about this is you can go to a mortgage advisor and they can talk you through it, and they can actually look at your actual physical balance and work out how that would help. Now, in the example I said, you're just paying off 100 a month. What you might be able to do is pay 10% of the mortgage balance annually. So double check what you're allowed to do. In fact, if you are thinking that you are wanting to make overpayments, you might look at doing a 2-year fixed. So at the end of the 2 years, you can do a lump sum overpayment. Or if you're going with a 5-year fixed, you can, one, potentially see if you can do the 10%, which is the norm on most mortgages. 2, to see if you can make higher. Or 3, to see if you can do something else. So normally you'd make one payment per month, which is your monthly payments. You'd be making 12 payments a year. But in some circumstances, you can actually speak to the lender, especially people that get paid every 4 weeks rather than who get paid every month. This works really well for them. And what they can ask to do is make a mortgage payment every 4 weeks and not every month. And then that way, you actually are having 13 payments a year. So if you're on a 2-year fix, you make 26 payments rather than the 24. And then obviously if you're on a 5-year fixed, you'd be making an additional 5 payments. So it all is really worth it and can make a big difference. Now, when you're looking at doing those overpayments, as I said, you can make the lump sum at the end, which is great. The other thing you can do, and the other good thing about the lump sum is if you're on like a 2-year fixed, at the end of 1 year, you can make a lump sum, the 10%, if that's your parameter. And then at the end of year 2, you can make even more than the lump sum. And all you do is you say to your mortgage advisor that you would like to make a lump sum payment before you go from one deal to the other. So then say your mortgage balance is 200,000 and you've got 50,000 saved, then what you can actually do is you can put that money aside, and instead of remortgaging on a £200,000 balance, you can remortgage on a 150,000 balance. And all you have to do is get the mortgage advisor to put down that part of the balance will be paid by a lump sum. Now, the good thing about doing that, which I have seen, is it's in savings. It's not being paid off every month. Now, I know some people are keen to pay it off every month, and that's what this whole video is about. But if you can only make 10%, for example, and you want to pay more and you put it in savings account, if an emergency does come up and you do not have an emergency fund, you have those savings that you could dip into if you need to, but only absolutely if you need to. So make it a high interest savings account. And sometimes, depending on whether, you know, the limited access that you have on these high interest savings accounts, you could actually be earning higher interest than what you're paying off. So for example, if the high interest account is paying 5% and your mortgage is only 3%, it makes more sense to take advantage of that 2% difference and save more. So if you want a working example, please put it in the comments, and I will do a working example. But this is basically explaining the best ways to do it. So just to recap, this is a must-know hack for your mortgage, your remortgage, and its overpayments. But even as first-time buyers, as soon as you start buying your first property, start making overpayments, and you could actually pay off your mortgage quite early, a lot earlier. You don't have to have the 25 years, the 30 years. See what term you can really afford. Make sure that you look at your budget, because a shorter term means less interest and you can pay stuff off more. So making overpayments, you'd be astonished, and there are calculators out there that will actually calculate how much the income is, the impact is, how much you can save by paying off your mortgage earlier. So by all means, check that out. As I said, it reduces your term, it saves you interest, and it increases your equity. So it's a win-win-win. So to do that, I would advise going to a mortgage advisor, and they'll be able to talk you through it. But you can also go direct to your lender or do whatever you normally do and do the calculations yourself, whatever is easiest or you feel most comfortable doing. So again, if you've got any questions about making overpayments on your mortgage, please let me know. But it really is, if you've got the affordability, of course, only if you've got the affordability, it can make such a huge savings. All right then, take care. Bye-bye.